God is in everything I see. This one honestly has always made me happy, and I hope that it makes you feel something. And it talks about how you're likely to feel all sorts of various reasons, and you might even get upset about it, especially if you have this idea that God is a specific body somewhere located on some specific planet, and of course is separate from everything else. So we want to recognize that this is more so about breaking out of your definitions of reality more so than breaking your reality. So it is actually an alternate dimension. So you can have all the separate ideas you want in this physical world, but essentially it is about an alternate reality where the totality of all that is what is God actually exists as. So that's what it's talking about as far as reality is this alternate universe of understanding, this alternate universe of experience. It is not actually the table, the hanger, the magazine, the finger, the lamp, the body, the door, the waste basket. It's really not any of this, because this is all imagery that your mind has projected onto it. So this is not actually what, say, it is. So it's not in the hanger, coat hanger, the magazine, but the magazine is covering up by your projection of what it actually is. So your projection, your mind ideas distort the reality of what it is. So even as if you might have this idea that energy, the spiritual universe, is that which is God, it too has space in it. So therefore it's separation. So there's actually some energy over here that's separate, not separate, but it's still connected, but in a different frequencies than the energy over here. And this implies space. It's not separate space because it's energy all connected, but it is space. In the totality of what is God doesn't even have this presence of different, alternate, different spaces. That it is everything all over the place in all existence. So as I talk about these things, I actually teach about these 10 dimensions, which the Course in Miracles doesn't talk about. I got it from my death experience. But the 0th dimension has no dimensions, no experiences within it. It is the total essence of all possible options, of variations of options, of all universals, timelines, existences, and possible endless everything, variations of everything. So that it goes into a whole nother depth of understanding, which I would rather you just find out through your own personal experience. So in this recognition, as far as what you're discovering, you're trying to break out gently out of your psychological insistence that you know what reality is. Really, you just know what your world looks like. You just know what your body ideas look like. You just know what imagery of your sensory perceptions looks like. You don't really know what, say, reality looks like. You're just saying this is reality because the other bodies that have the same sensory perceptions as you are in agreement that this is reality, right? That if we're all under this same sense of delusion, then nobody has the right to say anything about what an alternate dimension is that nobody can tell and nobody can see, right? So it's rather interesting because as you're getting into this, you're actually starting to discover that it's more like a movie screen, for the sake of example. A movie screen is white everywhere, and yet you project imagery onto it. And so you see different people, and you see trash cans, and you see hangers, and you see people and lamps and all these different things. And yet the movie screen is in these people. The movie screen is in this coat hanger. The movie screen is behind this weight basket in that same sense. So technically, as in that description, as metaphor, God is within everything or behind everything in that sense. It's not behind or in front of or forward and out of time and space, but it is within all existence because it is in all existence. So everything is within it and seemingly on top of it. So it can be a little confusing, but just surrender about it, relax about it, calm down a little bit, Devin, calm down, and just recognize that it is all that is. And you don't actually have to recognize it in itself quite yet, but just to look and tell yourself, okay, in this computer there is God there, in this phone there's God there, in this desk there's God there, God is in this book, God is in this flute, God is in this light, and so on. All right, it's all good. You should have a sense of feeling that respite, feeling a sense of peace from discovering this. You should. It brings peace and respite because you realize, well, God's not that far off. God's not way out there. In fact, God is being in existence everywhere. That also includes this space that I think is only me. That God is in this mind. God is in everything I see.